Hi guys, I'm back at Trafalgar Square with some protesters, and of course we're talking about the ULEZ expansion that's happening in August this year. As you can see, it's just kicked off. There's a load of people here. How long have you been here?
Just about 5-10 minutes I was here.
5-10 minutes ago. It's all getting momentum. People are coming. They're really angry about this, but they're also in a good mood. I mean, we're having a good time as well, aren't we?
Always good.
And you can see the support from the buses and the vans and all the cars around here. It's a great atmosphere again. If you haven't come to one of these protests yet, you absolutely have to do so. We have to make ourselves heard so that our voices can get through, and maybe we can make a difference. In the meantime, let's go find a few people, talk to a few people, and find out why they're here today.
Brown car guy. A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Hey there, Matthew, I know who you are because I've seen you online. I think 1 million people have seen you online. You stood up and you spoke eloquently about ULEZ and about the ULEZ expansion. Remind people a little bit about what you said.
Yep, so I'm Matthew Goodwin-Freeman. I'm a councillor for Harrow Council, and I went to the People's Question Time in Ealing a couple of weeks ago. And luckily I was given the mic and asked to ask a question. And I asked the Mayor, how is his ULEZ expansion going to change the cost in London, the economic recovery for London, the price of everything? Because what I was saying was, as a young person, you know, only 23 years old, as a young person, London is already incredibly expensive.
Can I just stop you there? Because a lot of people have said to me that young people are not interested in this problem.
Not true. It's not true, because as a local councillor, I'm out and about talking to people, and people young, old, all political opinions, all orientations are saying to me that this is the #1 thing to talk about. For a young person, London's already expensive. So when we're talking about £12.50 to pop to work, or to pop to the shops to buy, you know, a loaf of bread or some milk, or do the weekly shop, you know, young people like me are already paying a fortune renting places. You know, I'm very fortunate that I'm still living with family. But if I was having to rent somewhere, that's most of my salary gone. And I have other young people who've got in touch with me saying that I'm already paying so much in rent, then I'm paying for the petrol in my car. I can't afford to buy a new, more modern car that isn't going to be ULEZ, you know, that will be ULEZ compliant. This is an extra tax to live in London. What's the point? I might as well move away. So that's what it is.
And the other thing about the fact that, you know, you're from Harrow.
Yeah.
And people say to me, it's like, well, you don't need a car in London. But outer London's a completely different story.
Absolutely. Here you can walk that way 10 seconds, you're on a tube. That way 10 seconds, you're on a tube. That way 10 seconds, you're on a tube. But in outer London, it's a 15-minute walk to a station, 20-minute walk to a bus. The trains come once every 15 minutes, once every 30. They'll get cancelled, etc., etc. It's a completely different story. And when Sadiq Khan says that he's expanding bus routes by 1 million miles in outer London, let me remind him, outer London is very big. 1 million miles is not that much in outer London. So when we're talking about the ULEZ expansion to outer London, places like Harrow, it's because it makes a huge difference. You know, outer London's air quality is already good. If you look at the stats, it's 1, 2, 3 out of 10. Inner London, where we are right now, is always 7, 8, 9 or 10 out of 10. And here has the congestion charge, here has the ULEZ, here has the low emission zone, and it's clearly not making that difference. His own reports say it doesn't make a difference. It's going to be negligible. So it's just not acceptable to say outer London is as in demand as inner London. It's not.
And I think that to clarify that difference between central London and outer London, I mean, we're talking about Harrow. I live not far from you, and the fact that you know, it's almost rural in some parts of Harrow.
Well, no, absolutely. Outer London is, you know, the suburbs, Harrow's Metroland, the green area. You know, that's where I loved being a councillor from. But when I was at People's Question Time, he gave us this pamphlet on every single chair about the ULEZ expansion, and it had no facts in it whatsoever. It had no facts about how much the ULEZ is going to make a difference. It had no facts about the amount it's going to change, and that's because his own consultation, his own commissioned report that he did said it was negligible impact. So I'm sorry, but for £300 million, this is not about ULEZ, it's not about cleaning up the air, it's about pay per mile. That's what he wants to do next. He wants to charge everyone, no matter what vehicle you've got, he wants to charge you to drive the road, because that's unacceptable. This is our city. We already pay too much for, given the fact the trains are on strike, the buses are always on strike, and he doesn't seem to know how to run this city. So I'm sorry, but he needs to start listening to Londoners. That's what I said at People's Question Time.
And pay per mile, a lot of people say to me, well, this is a London problem, but pay per mile is not going to stop at London's outer border, is it?
No, we've seen that this ULEZ is not just a London issue. We've got other cities in the country thinking about it, other cities in the country looking at doing this, other metro mayors looking at doing this. This is no longer a London issue, this is a country issue. So every single person, you know, everyone here is united, regardless of what politics, regardless of where you come from. Everyone's united that this is a disgraceful idea, it's unacceptable, it's a tax, it's not about cleaning up the air, and at the end of the day, the mayor's choices have bankrupted TfL several times. He's had £6 billion from the government to fix his mistakes. He's now taxing us to cover the difference. It's not acceptable, and the mayor has got to go.
And what do you think is going to happen? Because Harrow is obviously joined with other councils and is taking action, legal action against this. How do you think that's going to go?
So we got the judicial review going at the moment. In a couple of weeks' time, we'll find out if we've got a case and if it can go to a hearing. Fingers crossed the judge says, yep, let's go to a hearing, because that means we've got reasonable grounds. Once we get to a hearing, this kicks it to another level. Every single part of London will know that there's reasonable grounds to review this. We need to have a look at this. We need to see whether this was true. We know he ordered the cameras before the consultation. We know that the consultation was overwhelmingly against the ULEZ, yet he still decided to plough ahead. We know that 5,000 results were somehow taken out and somehow excluded. That's unacceptable, because those are the voices of Londoners. So we know that the mayor's not been straight with us. We are here absolutely united against this. So my message to the mayor is, listen to Londoners, we are your electorate, and if you're not careful, next year in May, 2nd of May 2024, he'll be shown the door, because we'll vote him out.
One final question for you, Matthew. Being only 23 years old, what's your message to other young Londoners out there?
Put politics aside. Genuinely, honestly, I can't say it enough. Put politics aside. It doesn't matter that I'm a councillor. It doesn't matter whether I support this party or the other. This is an unacceptable decision. So what I'd say to other young people is, you have got a voice. You know, we understand social media so well. We've been born and grown up with it. I'm constantly putting my message out there that this is a disgraceful decision, that we need to unite and really stand up against this. So what I'd say is, as a young person, please use your voice, use your platform, use your message, and get that clear. This is a disgraceful decision. We've got to stop the ULEZ, and Sadiq Khan has gone too far. Use your power, use your voice, and stand up on behalf of other young people who can't.
Thanks so much for talking to me today, man.
Welcome, lovely to meet you as well. Thank you so much for everything you do too.
So my name's Dean, I'm from Hammersmith, against the ULEZ, against the carnage, trying to fight against the ULEZ, the 15-minute cities, and against this crazy carnage of Khan, really.
And what are you doing? Because you're running the Facebook groups, right?
We're running a few Facebook groups, yeah, admin a few, Save London, all the ULEZ groups, so anybody that's out there watching this, get on your local ULEZ groups. It's not just a Save London or anything else. Find your local ULEZ groups, link it up with us, and find out what's going on. There's plenty going on, there's plenty of activities that you can get in to try and save your areas from being locked into 15-minute cities and paid for £12.50 just to pollute the same. Social media has been the biggest drive for this. It really has. Like yourself going out there, putting the videos out there, it's really been a source of information, because we're not getting that information from media. Media are blocking us out. They're not here today. It's only like yourselves. We're pushed out. The general public are not being fed this information. They're just being fed one drip of something, which ain't the truth. It's not reality. Like you said, what was the figures you put the other day for the tyres and the brake dust and everything else? I mean, come on, it's now not exhaust emissions, now it's tyres, now what's next? It's now the emissions that come off your feet. Come on, what more rubbish do we need to listen to?
I am Nama, I am from Orpington,
and I am here, of course, to make my stand against the ULEZ. But I have a message to everyone. Anyone in the country that doesn't understand that this is the beginning of a bigger thing and it will affect everyone, anyone of any age, color, size, whatever. If you think it doesn't involve you, you are an irresponsible citizen, and you should be here or somewhere near your house, and you should stand your ground and not accept it, not to think that it doesn't touch me, so it's okay. It's not okay. It's unlawful, and it's not okay. And it's not okay for people to think that something of this doesn't touch them. It touch everyone.
Stand up to racism. We support you. Let's give them a big clap. A big clap for Stand Up to Racism. We support you as well. We stand up to racism as well. Thank you guys for coming out. We are with you on that. Everybody is a human. We're all humans. We support you. We're not against you. So thank you. We also stand up to racism. ULEZ is not erasing you. We are with you. We also stand up to racism. So well done.
Well, my name is Julian and I live there in Harrow, and we're down here protesting against, an anti-ULEZ procession, and we feel that we're slightly aggrieved in so much as Khan has gone ahead and procured early, and we feel that, this is somewhat unjust, because we as citizens need a voice, and our voice needs to be heard. There are citizens out there who are poor, can't afford the luxury of these expenses, and are carrying the weight on their actual waiting in terms of how much they spend on a month-to-month basis. So we're out here to support ULEZ and the ULEZ campaign. Come on, guys.
Big up Harrow.
Indeed. Big up Harrow and Sudbury.
My name's Leah. I'm from the group London by Londoners, or We Are LBL if you like. We've been campaigning against Sadiq Khan since around about 2019. Me myself personally, I've been doing it since about 2017, since the day he got elected, because I knew this day was coming. So it's good to see what I'm seeing now. People are finally waking up after about 3 or 4 years of me actually shouting to fresh air that this was going to happen. So it's good to see. It's good to see. So I'm enjoying every second of it. Hello, Sadiq, by the way.
Hello to Sadiq. And do you think Sadiq is listening? Do you think he's paying any kind of attention?
He'll never listen. He'll never listen. He'll never listen. I'll tell you what. People need to realise that Sadiq is the poster boy for this whole organisation. If you look at the meeting that he had literally 48 hours ago, that we posted on our page, by the way, you'll see what you need to see. Bloomberg, World Health Organization, and people need to remember, and this is out there, this is in public domain, in 2016, a month after he got elected, he had a dinner reservation booked in central London with none other than George Soros. Say what you want. That's all I'm saying.
So you're joining the dots. So where can people find you? Just remind everybody.
You'll find us on Instagram. We are LBL.
Thank you. Great YouTube channel.
Get Khan out! Yeah!
Hello, I'm Barry. I'm here to protest against Mayor Khan's stupid tax, basically. It affects me in so many ways. I'm a self-employed builder. My mother's 90. I'm a carer. She lives inside the zone. I just live outside it. So every time I go and see her, which I do on the way home usually, £12.50.
What are you going to do?
I'm just going to have to pay the charge. If, you know, I can't afford to buy a new van. I've got a disabled wife as well, so I just can't afford it. I'm still paying for my old van.
Get Khan out! Get Khan out! Get Khan out! Get Khan out! Khan is a dictator, he's a liar! Get him out! We have no air pollution problem in London. He's a liar! Get him out!
I've heard from health and safety. They say you can't sit like that on a bus.
I got fallen off.
I am Oliver Weaving, and I'm really upset about the ULEZ because my nan's getting older now and she can't come and see me because her car is too old and she's not well to work, so we need to stop this ULEZ. Come on, we all got this, and my dad needs to get a new car now because of this ULEZ. Come on, we don't need this. The bills are shot out the roof. We can't. This is going to cause us poverty.
Get Khan out! 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 Get
My name is Alex and I'm here to vote against the ULEZ tax that's being put on us. I just think it's a very unfair tax because obviously, you know, it'll cost £12.50 every time you take your car out. My wife is a nurse and she works different hours, she works late and she has to use a car because there are no bus services. You know, I've got a car that's 22 years old, it's my pride and joy.
What's the car?
It's a Porsche.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and I've looked after it and it looks brand new. It's done 30,000 miles. Yeah. So I have to scrap it.
No, do not. No. Do not. No, mate. Promise me you won't scrap it.
I will definitely not scrap it. You know, I mean, you know, obviously if it's going to cost me, it's going to cost me. But definitely, you know, I mean, 30,000 miles for a car like that. You know, and it's been my pride and joy. I worked all my life to get a car like that. And I think Khan is being totally unfair. You know, it wasn't in his manifesto. I mean, I worked all my life. You know, I was in business, I worked all my life. I had a portable bypass, but I worked hard and I got my car. I got my dream. You know, so why should I buy another one when I know mine is perfectly well? You know, I look after it for so long, and why should I get rid of it?
My name is Michelle. I'm here today to support the anti-ULEZ protest and basically take back democracy. I'm a care support worker. We basically are the lowest paid, or one of the lowest paid professions in the UK. We worked all through COVID, and I can assure you, if Sadiq Khan is listening, we are not anti-conspiracy theorists. We saw COVID, we saw people die, and we were still there on the front line supporting them. My issue with all of this is that we are now being told that we have to pay £12.50 a day to drive our cars. Some care support workers are earning £10 an hour, and yet we're being told £12.50. By the time we're paid, we'd have to work 2 hours just to cover that cost, approximately. Within one borough, which is within the ULEZ expansion plans, I drive approximately 200 miles a week, supporting and looking after extremely ill, extremely vulnerable people. Lots of carers can't afford cars that are compliant, and without us, people will be dying. It's as simple as that. We've got lots of poverty, people can't afford to eat, and I don't know if anyone's done the maths, but we're talking £4,500 for people that are earning £12,000 to £15,000. It's a third of their wages. Sadiq Khan, I'm sorry, it's robbery. You're nothing but a thief. And that's the long and short of it.
My name's Sunil and I'm here today because I'm completely against the ULEZ. I think it's a complete fabrication. It's a lie. It's just a tax grabbing and it's going to hurt so many people.
And how has it impacted you personally?
Well, my Mercedes 2015 is a diesel model. I was about to sell it because the TfL website said it's not compliant. Then I looked on the motorway website, it said it's compliant. I was getting really confused. I'd lost almost £8 grand. I was just about to advertise it And then in passing, someone said to me, you need to write to Mercedes. Mercedes sent me a homologen report, and it clearly confirmed my car was a 06, not a 05, and it was compliant. I contacted TfL, attached all documentation, and they then confirmed to me your car's compliant. Not even an apology, nothing. And I thought to myself, how many innocent people don't realise and probably selling their cars?
My name is Sammy, and I'm from Ilford, and you can hear it, everybody, that everyone's opposing ULEZ because it's useless. So that's why I'm here, and I'm opposing this ULEZ scheme, whatever the tax con, whatever the con this whole politicians are trying to do, or the mayor, whoever, anyone who's part of this, is useless. Well, for me, it doesn't really affect, but I'm standing up on behalf of everybody here, because I find it is bang on out of order, the fact that you have to pay £12.50 a day around to get into London. They didn't even think once or twice about the middle class, lower class, working people that are contributing Britain's economy to make it better. But then we have thieves who are taking over the country and the London itself, and still rob the money from us. It just doesn't make any sense.
Here in the protest, and it's an amazing atmosphere, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So I just asked the policeman, and he told me there's 6 different protests going on today.
Yeah,
but you're here for ULEZ. What brought you to the ULEZ protest?
It's basically his plans and everything, which is really ridiculous and unfair, because there are a lot of priorities now with the interest rate rises.
Yeah.
Right. Then there's the energy crisis. Yeah. What should people
what can you focus on? That's right. Yeah. And where do you live? How will it affect you?
To be honest, it doesn't affect us, but in the long run, like pay per mile and things like that, will definitely have an impact. Not just for
now,
us, but for everybody
he's going to even charge us for breathing.
I think I said that in one of my videos. So how did you find out about this protest?
We found out through your YouTube channel, actually.
And there's something very interesting you said, that you'd like to see more people come to these events.
Yes, certainly. Like this, because the more the numbers, the impact and the effect, there's more chances that the ULEZ expansion will be stopped.
Yeah. My name is Yasin. I'm here because of this my lovely car. I had it for years now. It's 32 years old, and it's shame, you know, in a few months' time I won't be able to drive it anymore, or I'll have to pay the ULEZ charges. I don't see any sense in that, because I drive it few months the whole year really. So surely I'm not going to cause pollution by driving this on a weekend, you know, take the family for a ride.
You felt you necessary to come here today with a message from your car.
Yes. So
you're here on behalf of your car.
Yes, exactly, and hopefully this we will stop this nonsense. Honestly, it just doesn't make sense at all.
I love the fact that you're here on behalf of your car. As a car guy, I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much, thank you. Because these are becoming classic cars, and we don't see such cars anymore. And every time I drive it, I see smiles. People wave for me and say, "Yeah, well done. It's a really nice car." So that makes you so happy, you know.
I'm Jazz. I've come from Ilford, and I've come to oppose this unfair tax on the working class people.
And how does it affect you?
It affects 2 of my vehicles, because I drive older cars. I've got an old Lotus Elise, right?
Awesome!
Yep, and I've also got a Ford Escort Cabriolet.
Brilliant!
1984. It's going to affect both of them. So, and you know, I hardly use those cars. So why should I have to pay £12.50 for using it every single time?
And I think this is the thing that a lot of people say to me is like, well, you've got a classic BMW, you can afford the £12.50, but you know, we pay a lot to keep our classic cars on the road, don't we?
We do. We need help with that, you know. And you know, I would say this is a part of a bigger agenda that they're going to roll out with regards to road pricing, you know, road charging per mile, all these things that are coming out. So this is just the beginning, and we need to fight it.
One of the things that I find, I took my classic car yesterday morning, I parked it in front of a cafe, and I got a lot of people looking at it, talking about it, smiling, you know.
I get it all the time. I get that everywhere I go, because people miss those cars from the previous eras, right? And when they see it, they'll always, you know, wind down their window. They'll say, "Where did you get that from?" They'll ask you questions about it. It brings so much joy to their faces, right? And I love taking it out, you know, occasionally to do that, and that is, you know, now it's just going to sit in the garage, and it's just going to rot, you know. So
that's just criminal.
It's not right. It's they haven't thought this through at all.
What's your name?
Sammy.
So why are you here today?
I've got a car basically which is non-compliant at the moment, so I mean it's going to cost me a lot to change the car, and I can't afford it basically.
What's the car?
It's Honda Civic.
Oh cool, which one is it?
2.2 diesel.
Oh right, oh interesting, oh because it's a diesel. So what year is that then?
2007.
Ah okay, yeah, so it's definitely outside the thing.
Yeah.
So how does it, so where do you live? How does it impact you?
Live in Edgware, so I think it's going to go to the M25, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, you're not far from me because I'm in Kingsbury. So if you're in Edgware, you're not very far from where I am.
Yeah. I mean, it's like £12.50. It's too expensive. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah.
I've got bikes as well.
Yeah.
But luckily, there's a emission testing centre in East London.
Right.
So I got it tested and I actually passed.
So how does that work with bikes then?
It's I think it's a certain grams per kilometre or something.
Yeah. So it's the same sort of NOx output, but you have to get it tested.
Actually, underneath that.
Hi, Mike, is it? And you're from where?
I'm from Petrol Revolt.
What is Petrol Revolt?
We're a YouTube channel. We do track days and automotive meetups. Petrol Revolt is just a two-fingered poke at the electric car world.
Okay, that's great. So why are you here today?
Well, protest against the ULEZ expansion, but specifically with Motorcycle Action Group. It's the inclusion of motorcycles with cars in the ULEZ, and motorcycles are not exempt, and they should be. You know, they're congestion busters. Yet motorcycles will be penalised the same as cars.
So just to clarify, how does the ULEZ affect bikes? Which bikes are allowed and which are not?
Well, as part of an active travel policy, it's only e-scooters and e-bicycles which sort of form part of the travel policy. Any type of motorcycle, whether it's electric or petrol, is going to be charged.
Really? But there is a ULEZ compliance fee, right?
Unless it meets the ULEZ compliance.
So what is the ULEZ compliance? Bikes?
Well, it'll be a nitrous oxide limit, probably bikes that are 2008 onwards, something like that. But you can get them tested, and then you can register your reg plate as being ULEZ compliant. So motorcycles are good financial convenience. You know, if you can't afford a car, especially if you can't afford an electric car or a ULEZ compliant car to get round in the new zone, then motorcycles are a way of getting round, getting to work, you know, using them to meet people, look after people, and all of those trips that should be low cost, well, no cost on motorcycles, are going to be put at risk and be charged.
So we've caused a bit of a backlog. We're going to let the traffic clear for a bit. We'll let the traffic clear, get the traffic moving.
I've got not one, but two Sadiq Khans here today at the protest. So Sadiq and Sadiq, what do you have to say for yourself?
Get Khan out!
but you are Khan.
Yeah, for one day only. For one day, I'm a nightmare. That's exactly what I am.
Tell me this, nightmare. Do you think you'll ever see sense? Do you think you'll understand the other side of the story?
It worries me that he won't, because I tell you today here, there's a certain age of people that probably have never ever broken the law, and through stress and anxiety and worry, they've been forced up to London to protest for their right to free movement and just to be able to live their retired lives and see their family and go to little day clubs, probably don't even drive 2,000 miles a year in their car, and it's getting rid of their freedom. And I think he's targeting the wrong people in my eyes. These are the people we should be looking after. They're managing to live alone, they're managing to cope alone, and he's taking away, and I think it's going to affect their mental health.
I think you made a very good point there, in the fact that a lot of people that are coming to these protests, it's the first time that they've ever protested.
Well, I've never protested, neither has Dad.
Both of us.
And you know, there's elderly ladies in groups of 2 or 3. They don't like going on the tube. But
I'm a pensioner, and I've worked it out that I have to drive my car 6 days a week.
If I have to pay the £12.50, my car is not compatible to the ULEZ. It's going to cost me £75. I do volunteering work. I get to pick up food and take it to the food bank. I have to carry garden machinery in my car to take down to the local church.
He's volunteering. He's
So
not just, you know, riding to Tesco.
all those sort of things will, you know, affect me badly, and my lifestyle as well, because I'll end up not going out probably.
Before you go, tell us who you really are.
I'm Sarah. I used to live in Romford. I live in Ongar now.
And I'm Bob. And I live in outside Romford, just outside.
Great to meet you guys.
And you. Bye.
Carry on watching your channel.
Look all this backlash. It's non-existent. The non-existent backlash of London. Thanks to the ULEZ. Not to ULEZ. We've even got Brown Car Guy here. You're live on Facebook. Brown Car Guy. I guess I'm live as well.
Hey Kingsley, great to see you. What a fantastic day it's been. But tell me about this bus you've been rocking today.
Oh, well, it's basically a mobile power station. It's got a big inverter in it, so it can power a large sound system. So if I want to do some public speaking or really make a noise or get a bit of attention, it's the perfect way to do so. I've used it a few times for remembrance services for the same reason, because it's got a big power supply in it.
It's been an amazing mascot for today. It's been a real standout star of the demonstration today. This was on the number, I see it on the back as a number 73 route bus.
Yeah, it's just, it would have been in service in London many years ago. So doing its thing, carrying passengers for millions and millions of miles. So it's actually quite clean. Believe it or not, it doesn't smoke, so it's quite good. I do actually do some volunteering with it. I take Silver Youth Club from Don's Local Action Group out for day trips. I did the New Year's Day parade with Don's Local Action Group, and I do have a few other bits voluntarily. But
fantastic to see it out here. Are you going to bring it to the next protest?
It depends where it is. We're sort of working on bits and bobs all the time, so it is expensive to run. We'll see what we can do, obviously. Yeah.
So one of the amazing things about being at Trafalgar Square, of course, is that there's always a lot of activity going on. So even though it started raining at the moment, we've got another protest march going through the middle of the ULEZ march. It's absolutely epic right now. What an incredible atmosphere. Lots of amazing stuff going on here. But you know what? This is the wonderful thing, that people have a right to come out and talk about issues that concern them, a right to protest and a right to make their voices heard. And I think this is what people are doing today. So anyway, we've had a fantastic day. Lots of great people we've spoken to, lots of issues that we've discussed, and lots of reasons that ULEZ needs to be stopped or paused or delayed or looked at more carefully, because it just doesn't apply and just doesn't make any sense. So please, whoever's out there, pay attention, watch these videos, share them, talk about ULEZ, talk about what it's leading to, talk about how it can impact you, and talk about what we can do to stop it. See you in the next video.
Brown car guy.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video as well if you can. And while you're at it, check out these guys who also sponsor my content. I am deeply grateful to them because it helps me to buy new equipment, put fuel in the cars, and yes, buy a cup of coffee. You can do the same. Just go here or right here on YouTube. Just hit these three little dots down here and click on thanks. Make sure you're signed in first. My content is free, but this is how you can help me keep it that way. I may even send you a gift. Oh, by the way, watch this next.